So 2024 is coming to an end in just a couple of days, and I wanted to squeeze in one more video before the end of the year. So today I am building a space-saving desk. Right, so as I said, I want to squeeze in one more video before the end of the year. So this is going to be a quick, fairly simple project, and afterwards I want to have a quick discussion about what's happening next year and show you some of our new merch, but I will get to that in a moment. Now, for a bit of context before I jump in with today's project, my brother is a designer and he does a lot of his work from his house. He's got his makeshift office set up in his living area because he doesn't have the biggest house. So it can become a little bit cluttered when he's not working, or when he's dug into a project but he's not working at the time. So he asked me to build a desk into a cupboard in his living area where he can set up a mini office. When he's not working, he can close the door and his living area won't seem as cluttered. Now, there is already an existing white melamine cupboard in his living area, so all I need to do is add a flat surface that can support his monitor and other devices or stationary items. The drawback is, or the challenge is, the fact that the chair cannot move in all the way underneath the desk or the surface because of the base of the cupboard. So I need to add a second component that can pull out towards him, which can support his keyboard, drawing tablet, or any other devices or equipment he uses for his design process. So, as I said, the existing cupboard is melamine, which is not really a material I work with, but it is the material of choice when it comes to built-in cupboards in this country, due to cost and availability. So I decided to make the desk extension out of the same melamine material. This made my life a little bit easier because I was able to submit a cutting list and get all my components pre-cut and edged, ready to be assembled. The melamine is obviously not a deal breaker. I could have used pretty much any material I wanted to build this, but as I said, the melamine pre-cut edging option is just convenient and easy for me in this situation. Now guys, if you want plans for this project, please let me know in the comment section down below and I will get them drawn up and posted on my plans website, which I will link in the description of this video. Keep in mind that the plans would need to be adapted or changed in some way to whatever space is available, because this one was designed specifically for the space available at my brother's place. With this material, everything pretty much just screws together and there isn't really a need for glue. Now, there really isn't a massive amount of space available to work with within the cupboard, so I have to maximize the design within the space available. Okay, so this is now the very compact, very basic desk that I'm going to be installing into the cupboard cavity. So when you open the doors, you will have this surface, and on top of this will be the monitor and other stationary items relevant to my brother's work. Now, the non-edged surfaces and the visible screws will obviously not be visible because this will be facing towards the inside of the side panels of the cupboard. I'm going to install a secondary top over here, which will obviously be able to pull out towards my brother for his keyboard and other devices that he needs to interact with to do his job. For the secondary desk or desk extension, I'm going to use undermount runners. These are obviously more discreet and can handle more weight because my brother will obviously be resting his arms on this surface or drawing or whatever the case may be. These runners also incorporate a soft close feature. Now, I will add versions of these as well as all the other pieces of hardware and electronics I use in this project to my Amazon storefront. So if you guys want to check out pricing, availability, or just get more information, I will link it in the description of this video. This is obviously not the intended use of these runners, so the final product will kind of show how well they work within this application. They are rated at about 35 kgs, so they should work just fine. So that's pretty much it for the desk component, or the assembly of the desk component. And as I said, nothing crazy complicated. But what I do like about this design is how it almost doubles up the usable surface area within the available space inside the cupboard. Now I am almost ready to install this, but there is one or two finishing touches that I still want to add, but I'll get to that in a moment, because I might have to print custom holders for things like a USB hub and some wireless charging that I want to cut into the work surface. Next, I would like to jump on the second component, or second part of this project, which is a floating shelf with an LED strip for ambient lighting. So for the floating shelf, there's not a crazy amount of preparation required. I need to cut in the floating shelf brackets, pretty much just drill a hole down the back of the board, and then I would also like to add some overhead ambient lighting. For the overhead lighting, I'm going to use a normal LED strip, 5-volt LED strip that I can power from a USB port on my brother's computer. And to install the strip, I'm using this aluminium profile that I will fix to the underside of the floating shelf, and it also comes with a nice cover to close it up. The trickiest part about installing the floating shelf brackets, or cutting them into the floating shelf, is ensuring that I drill them perfectly straight. The shelf is too wide for my press, so I had to come up with a very basic solution. A very basic jig guide that serves as a reference while drilling. Now the LED lights aren't really intended to be a work light, but rather just an ambient light to highlight the space inside the cupboard and visually separate it from the rest of the room. After installing the aluminium housing, or fixing it to the floating shelf, the LED strip simply glues in place. Okay, so that's now the floating shelf with the LEDs and the floating shelf brackets pretty much prepped and ready to be installed. Next, I'm going to print out those brackets, as I mentioned earlier, for the USB hub and the wireless charger. I'm going to install them into the table, and then I'm pretty much ready to install this into the cupboard. The main purpose of installing these devices, well, is cable management. By gluing these holders or these devices in place as a permanent installation on the desk, I can minimize the need for additional wires on top of the desk. Okay, so that's now all the components prepped and ready to be installed. So I'm going to load everything up, drive over to my brother's place and mount everything to the wall. I'll then glue in the custom printed holders and the project will pretty much be finished and ready to be used. The installation was very straightforward and pretty much involved bolting and screwing the already assembled components in place inside the cupboard. The back of the cupboard was wall, cement and brick, so I had a nice solid base for mounting the floating shelf brackets. So that's the desk, and it works pretty much exactly as we had intended. We didn't have a crazy amount of space to work with, but I think we did not only utilize it well, but we even maximized it. Now my brother has a functional space he can work, and because it's in his living area, when he's not working, he can close it up and it's out of sight. And that's pretty much it for the desk. A nice simple project to end off the year. I enjoyed designing and building it, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Now at the beginning of the video I mentioned that we have a brand new merch lineup, all designed by my brother with more to come. It is posted on our Teespring storefront, so if you want to support the channel, the link will be in the description of this video. My brother also wants to do limited edition designs for the channel, so every 2 to 3 months we will post a unique design that will only run for maybe a month or so, but those will all be announced in videos as they come out. Now, if you've been following my channel for some time, you would know that 2024 has been a year of recovery for me after ending 2023 with an autoimmune disease diagnosis and a mild stroke. But I feel like I'm back on track and 2025 can once again be a year of growth and progress. I do intend to keep going with this channel as long as I can and keep making the kind of videos that you guys enjoy. So if you aren't subscribed yet and you want to come along for the ride, you should do that now. And that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It is my last one for 2024 with the year ending in just a couple of hours. Thank you for everyone's continued support through the years since I've been making videos or since I had this channel. I hope you guys have a beautiful 2025 and I will see you again soon. Cheers.